afternoon, everyone. I have to say, as an insurance guy, I'm not used to so much enthusiasm and excitement, so I'm really going to be right at the back of this. But a huge welcome to our offices here in the city. Really exciting day for us, obviously. You know, Howden are really proud to be not just the partners of the British and Irish Lions, but also obviously on that amazing jersey or shirt, whichever you prefer to call it. Well, really is a pretty passionate business. We're the biggest broker in Britain, with offices right across Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. And so for us to be partnering with the Lions is very exciting. Hopefully some of you here have already felt that as you come into offices and see what's happening. So anyway, with no further ado, I've got a really great pleasure to introduce to you, first of all, the Chief Executive of the British and Irish Lions, Ben Calvary. It's also my great pleasure now to introduce the Chair of the British and Irish Lions, Ian Evans. And the great surprise today, I would like to introduce you to the new head coach of the British and Irish Lions, Andy Farrell.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shane Whelan. I'm the Director of Digital Marketing and Communications for the Lions. I'd like to firstly say thanks so much. Really appreciate all the efforts you have made to be here at the home of one of our principal partners, Howden. Just some housekeeping before we get started. All content from this main press conference will be available for live broadcasting and publishing. Following this, we'll go into the embargoed section for print media and the section for Sundays. We will do our best to get through as many questions as possible. If I can just ask, when you get the mic, can you please say who you are, the media organisation you work for, and who the question is intended for. Just so people are aware, Sky Sports is broadcasting this first section live. I will now hand over to the British and Irish Lions Chief Executive Ben Calvary for opening remarks, before we also hear from the Lions chairperson, Ian Evans. Ben.
Thank you, Shane, and good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming. We're delighted to be here today because the British and Irish Lions is announcing that Andy Farrell will be head coach for the Lions tour to Australia in 2025. Andy will join us full-time on secondment from the IRFU in December of this year, and he'll remain with the Lions until the conclusion of the tour, of course, in August of 25. Now, the reason why Andy is starting in December of this year is so that he can remain with Ireland and coach through the autumn programme later this year, so he can continue as a head coach to test himself against some of the best players in the world. And I would like to thank Kevin Potts, David Nucifora and the IRFU, firstly for agreeing to release Andy on secondment to us, but secondly for agreeing to work collaboratively with us between now and when he starts full-time in December. Now, we are absolutely convinced that in Andy we have the right person for the job, but of course that's not a decision we took lightly. We brought together a panel of experts with many tours worth of experience to help make sure we got this choice right. Joining me on that panel were Ian Evans, who you'll hear from shortly, who of course is our chair and a three-time Lions tourist himself. We also had Nigel Redman, who toured the Lions to South Africa in 1997. We had Sir Ian McGeechan, who is in the audience here, needs no introduction, but of course a multiple Lions tourist, both as a player and really importantly as a head coach. And Brian O'Driscoll was on the panel as well, a four-time Lions tourist himself. Now, that group engaged in lots of debate, some very robust debate actually, over a more than 6-month period, but by the end of which unanimously agreed that Andy was the right person for the job. And you might ask, in fact I'm sure you will ask, what is it that is important? What are the competencies that you need to have as a Lions head coach? And what did we see as a group in Andy? Again, lots of debate about this, but there were two competencies that really came to the fore. The first was around the importance of being able to unify a group and the second was around your technical and your tactical competencies. Now in Andy, we see someone who's got the technical and tactical covered off in spades, but he also has this really rare gift, I think, to be able to unify a group, to get a group of individuals to coalesce around a common purpose in a really short period of time. And having been on 2 Lions tours himself, as part of the coaching ticket in 2013 and 2017, he knows how important this is. So if I could close before I hand over to Ian, can I thank David Howden, our principal partner, for hosting us to make this announcement today. But in summary, we've run an expert-led, very thorough process. We are absolutely convinced that in Andy Farrell we have the right person to lead us to Australia, and we cannot wait now to get down in 18 months' time to take on the Wallabies in the Test Series. Thank you, and I'll hand over to Ian.
Thank you very much, Ben. Diolch yn fawr achos y cynnes chi gyd, a diolch am ymuno â ni yma heddiw. It is such an exciting moment. I'm delighted to be here today in a significant milestone. We announce our head coach, Andy Farrell, for the forthcoming tour to Australia in 2025. Can I first of all express my gratitude to David and the team for hosting us here today and being a wonderful partner for us in readiness for the challenge that awaits us in Australia. But also, it's forgive me some poignancy as well. We've lost significant and iconic Lions over a number of months. But this last couple of weeks we've lost another couple. Malcolm Price and JPR Williams. JPR was a massive hero of mine, and much as the Lions, the British and Irish Lions, shaped and defined me as a player, it also shaped me, defined me as a viewer. Watching it inspired me to pick up a rugby ball and play. JPR, in many ways, reshaped how full backs were played, and we have a wonderful world-class former player and Lions captain here, Gavin, who also contributed to that. But when we lose significant people and contributors to how the Lions, and the esteem in which the Lions are held, the affection held, and its preeminence in the sporting world, it's nice to pay respect to the players who contributed to that, and JPR and Malcolm passing this way. It's a sad day, but it's an opportunity for us to also celebrate and take joy from their contribution. And that's what the Lions do more than anything else. Bring joy, bring a smile, unites. And it's an opportunity for supporters who weren't able to travel to South Africa on the last tour, now launch themselves 8,000 miles across the globe to follow a team that they have so much time and affection for. It's an opportunity for as much as my memories are evocative in so many different ways, and the friendships that I created on these tours are long-standing and still with me, and I treasure greatly. It's also an opportunity for the next generation of players to generate those warm moments, those great moments, those iconic moments, and the affection they have for their circumstances, their environment, and the people around them. It's an opportunity for management and supporters alike to cherish their time in Australia in 2025. So much to look forward to. An exciting chapter is waiting to unfold in front of our very eyes. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Jan and Ben, thank you. We'll now start the session. James Cole, Sky Sports.
Thank you. Andy, congratulations. What does it mean to you to be given this opportunity?
It means the world. It means the world to me. To be thought of as a candidate for the head coach's role is pretty special. But to be chosen, it's pretty magical. It definitely is. I suppose being on a couple of Lions tours already gives me the feel of what it's all about. And for those who've been lucky enough to be involved before, or for those of us who've been lucky enough to go on Lions tours as a supporter or support the Lions and for what the Lions stand for at home, etc., we all know how special place this is. For me to be chosen as the head coach is beyond words. To be honest, I've obviously got a lot of people to thank, Ian and Ben, and obviously the board of the Lions, and obviously the selection committee, but also the IRFU, like Ben said, the support that they've given me, Kevin Potts and David Nusafor, and everyone concerned with the IRFU have helped this dream come true, so I'm very grateful.
And what would the key principles of a Lions team led by yourself be? Should Australia prepare themselves for the Hurt Arena?
I've probably grown up a little bit since then. Probably not as dramatic, No, there won't be any film star roles from myself. Just being myself, and I'm making sure that the team comes first.
Andrew McKenna from Talk 4 Radio. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Ben said that it was a 6-month process to identify you as the person they wanted. How long did it take you to say yes?
Oh, straight away. Obviously, I mean, we had a conversation a couple of months ago, myself and Ben, and he laid out all the different ramifications of what it involved to be the head coach, and he didn't need to do that, to be honest. It was a no-brainer because it's such an honour.
I'm sure you've already started thinking in terms of assistant coaches. When would you like to get that nailed down by?
I'm in no rush at all. There's a long way to go, isn't there? There's a lot of coaches just starting in new roles, etc. Some people will get better as coaches under pressure, to be able to sit back and watch and not just have the right conversation so that we get the right people on the bus to lead this team.
And in terms of the Lions, we often talk about it being the pinnacle for the players. As a head coach, is getting the head coach's job at the British and Irish Lions the pinnacle?
Well, it's the pinnacle for the players, and people will always debate this when you're coming up to World Cups, etc. But it's the pinnacle for the players, because after a World Cup, the next big thing for them to aim to is to get selected for the British and Irish Lions. And from their point of view, it's about the best of the best, and the reason that the camaraderie and the history is so strong and the brand is so strong, because those players want to make sure that they earn the respect of the fellow peers whilst they're on those tours, and that makes them stronger. For me to be part of it as a head coach, I mean, you can imagine how much I'm bursting with pride in regards to that.
Alex Hayes, Goodman Rugby. Andy, congratulations.
Thanks, Alex.
Great to see you. I think a lot of people have had you in this position for quite some time. Can you just give us a little sense of, I suppose, the challenge that you are expecting as you head to an Australian setup at the moment? Looks a little bit runners. How quickly do you think that'll come around?
I know Australia more than most of the Australian psyche, personnel, what it's like to tour there. Obviously, I've grown up in Australia quite a bit as far as my career is concerned, and I know that what this will mean to them. As we all know, from a Lions point of view, it's extra special to be a Lion from these shores. But when it comes around every 12 years, and you're lucky enough as a player to be part of that, it's got to be extra special. So it's a huge moment for Australia. To be involved as a player and at the top of your form in the middle of those 12-year periods has got to be extra special. So I know the journey over the last wee while, as far as the Australian rugby is concerned, needs a little bit of repair. But the candidates that are talked about by you guys in regards to who's going to be in charge, and me knowing firsthand the type of personnel and the quality of player that an athlete that they've got. I mean, we played Australia not too long ago at the Aviva, and it was one of the toughest games that we've faced in the last few years, certainly at home. So I know that they're going to get it right, because it means so much. 2025 is going to be a massive year for Australian sport with the Lions coming over.
Brilliant. And one sort of quick one. Can you just give a bit of insight into the challenge that is unique to being a Lions head coach relative to what you've achieved in national and club game?
I suppose the challenge is, which is very exciting for me, that there's a blank canvas and there's an organisation in front of the organisation, as it were, to be built, and that's what's exciting for me. A blank canvas to build up a schedule, a backroom staff, a coaching staff, etc., and a playing pool that is extremely talented, and that's for us all to see. You know, I'm excited about the next 18 months to be able to put that together.
Hi Andy, Ashton O'Reilly here from Off the Ball. Huge congratulations. Just in terms of your style as a head coach, I'm sure you've had a lot of experience as a player, and that's probably shaped the way that you do show and lead out there. Just describe your style as a head coach.
It is what it is. It is what it is. It's me being myself. It's me trying to put across to the talented pool of players that I work with, that I certainly am going to work with, and letting them flourish for the type of people that they are, to be able to express themselves. 100% the talent's going to be there, so I need to make sure that I'm allowing that talent to flourish.
And just in terms of the IRFU, it's great that they've been so supportive. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're going to balance the two roles?
Well, I'll balance the two roles by making sure that I give both roles the right attention that both roles deserve. I wouldn't take on this role unless I could do both roles to the best of my ability, and therefore I'm very grateful from the IRFU again for this opportunity.
Thanks, Ryan. Mitchell Lewis from Reuters. Congratulations. Ben talked about the joy of the Lions, and one of your strengths with Ireland seems to have been bringing the joy and the fun back into the camp. How important is it, part of your role, to make sure the players love the experience?
Well, there's a fine balance to be had here, because you know, there's a lot of talk about fun and enjoyment, etc. But you don't get fun and enjoyment if you've not got the tactical awareness or technical ability to be able to put the right tools in front of the talented group that we're going to have to be able to express themselves. So first and foremost, it's getting the right tactics, getting the right facilities, getting the right environment for them to be able to flourish as a rugby player. I suppose for the tours that I've been on, what makes it very easy as far as the camaraderie and the excitement and the bonds that Yayan as rightly spoke about, is because when you get the best of the best, the fighting for that respect, and not just that, they're trying to learn off the people that they are competing against year in, year out. I mean, we're a couple of weeks away from a tournament that is pretty special to everyone in the Six Nations, and the rivalries is right up there, and that's why we all love the Six Nations. But when the best of the best come out of that, the respect is through the roof. So therefore, the bond has already started, and it's an easy job to try and filter that through the organisation as a whole.
And Ben, can I just ask you how important in the rugby calendar is the Lions, and how pleased are you that you've got a bit of space next time to actually get all going together?
I think it's incredibly important in the rugby calendar, and these guys have talked about it already. When you look at the players, it's considered to be the absolute pinnacle for them, isn't it? And the engagement we have from the player population, who we speak to all the time, is as strong as it's ever been. But the same is true of the fans, right? Of course, we didn't have fans with us in South Africa, and goodness me, weren't they missed? So we're really looking forward to having not just Lions fans and that famous sea of red, but the Wallabies fans in there together, and I think the passion and the colour and the vibrancy that they will bring will be extraordinary. But equally, when you look at the support of our commercial partners, and we've mentioned Howden already, and there are many others, there are record deals being done. So all of this tells me that the Lions is still considered by all of those different constituents to be extraordinarily important, and our job is to make sure we harness that level of excitement and passion and make sure we use it to grow the game.
Andy, shooting guard, AAT.
Hi.
I was just wondering, you've obviously seen the Lions from the inside, and you've seen being a national coach. Just how more difficult is it with the limited time you have with the players as a Lions coach before the first test, as compared to coaching a national side?
I don't think it is. I think that's the art of being an international coach, to getting people up to speed as soon as you possibly can. When it comes round to an autumn series or a Six Nations, we get the players for 5 training sessions beforehand, and nobody cares whether we've been together for 6 months or not. They all expect a performance, you know. So for us to be lucky enough this time round to kick off the first game at the Aviva against Argentina is a massive bonus, you know, and a massive privilege for Ireland, you know, on the 150th anniversary. So that's going to be huge. Everyone's going to be together, and then we have plenty of warm-up games before we get to the first test, where everyone will get a chance to pull on that jersey.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hi. Just from your experience touring before, what's the biggest things you've taken away from kind of the experience of being an assistant coach, which will hopefully help as well?
Well, rugby's a pretty simple formula. You know, we're not rocket scientists. We are in the position that we're in because hopefully we're pretty good at understanding the game. So being yourself and picking the right personnel that's able to gel together is pretty important, and that's not just the playing pool, but the staff that's going to complement that.
And question for Ben, Andy touched on it a bit, and you know as well, but kind of having fans back in the stadiums for 2025, must be quite a relief for you guys, and such a huge part of what the Lions is.
Exactly right. I mean, if we look back to 2021, I think it was a triumph in many ways to make that tour happen in the middle of those COVID headwinds that we all remember. But the thing we missed more than anything else was the fans, for the reasons that have already been talked about. They are now almost literally queuing up in their thousands to come with us. And when they're there, they just bring an excitement, a passion, a vibrancy that without them is really missed. And I actually think that in a Lions context, maybe more than in other sporting properties, I look at the fans as like participants in the action, not spectators, because they do contribute so much to the overall atmosphere and the feeling. And when you speak to the players, and of course we do speak to the players all the time, they will confirm that their performance is raised when you've got that passionate sea of red behind you. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to most, actually, is having those famous fans back with us in Australia.
And Ian, obviously you went to Australia 35 years ago now, I think.
Yeah, I think as well. It's a long count.
What can we expect from the tour of Australia?
I think it's going to be sensational. They're such a strong, powerful sporting nation. The country itself, it's an opportunity for the players to, you know, and back to Ben's point as regards the spectators for us who will follow this tour, which there will be thousands. They sustain the tour. It's a touring team, one of the last touring teams in existence, particularly in the rugby environment. They're the fuel that sustains a tour and maintains your standard of performances, because it is incredibly challenging and tiring to maintain your levels as a player, and having that energy. You reciprocate, you know. The energy comes from the crowd, you build upon it, you feed them back again. That's how it works. And the whole cultural benefit, and great coaches, and Andy's very much one of them. It's one of the reasons he's such an outstanding candidate for us when we discussed it. They're cultural architects. They get that right. Yes, there's the tactical and technical aspect, but it's the culture that really works. And in such in a tour that, an entity that's such an anachronism in the modern world, being able to unite and bring people to a common goal really is, and that's what captures the public appetite. That's what captures the sporting appetite out there, and why people travel across the world to be part of it, feel part of it, a sense of belonging. It is a Lions family, players, management, supporters alike, sponsors, partners. It's all one, and it's it what makes you bring back for more and more and more.
Ben James, World of Lions. Andy, obviously it's been a while since some other one approached the Lions. You worked under him in the past. What have you sort of learned in those experiences? I know you said a couple of months, so he's quite happy to talk about that.
Obviously, I've learned a lot from Gats. I was lucky enough. I reckon he took a big punt on me in 2013. I hadn't been coaching for that long at that stage, so I'm very grateful for him to be able to expose me to what the Lions is all about. And you know, just sat here now, listen to what Ian and Ben's saying about the sea of red and everything gets the spine tingling again. And in 2013, I was enjoying it that much that it just lit something within me that said to me that I need to make sure that I get back on this in 4 years' time again. So to miss out on the COVID one in South Africa was hard, but at the same time now to be able to get to this point is extra special. I've massive shoes to fill in regards to the people that's gone before me, and that Mr. Lyons is sat at the back of you there, Geach. He's just put his head down because he doesn't want anyone to see him. But the shoes to fill, the people that have gone before me, is a massive responsibility that I take head on. Gats has already been in touch, and I'm sure that we'll be in touch a bit more over the next 18 months.
And he often speaks about the importance of having a coaching ticket sort of concept from the different countries. Is that something that you sort of share?
Well, if that's the right balance, that's the one we go with. But you've got to have the right people on the bus. You know, it's about excellence as well, and the right balance between the coaching staff in general. If we have all the personalities that are the same, it won't feel right. You know, if we don't get the people right that technically, tactically can deliver to these super players that we're going to have, that won't feel right neither. So we've got to do the right thing by the team. Thanks, Barry.
What have you seen players who've gone towards actually get out and come back to their national?
The learnings, you couldn't write it, Murray. You couldn't write it. I mean, you would have to ask them, I suppose, more than myself, but from what I've observed, it's so vast. The confidence that they get in watching, and don't forget, these guys are the best of the best, but they're watching each other like a hawk, you know, trying to learn off each other on a daily basis. Everyone's staring at each other's breakfast for a start, and you know how they prepare for training sessions, how they deal with the nerves before the game. They see things that within a person that actually go, you know what, he is pretty human, and this is how he deals with it because he's got the same nerves as me, etc. You know, so the learning is something that you can't replicate anywhere else. It is so vast.
Just sorry to interrupt you, but in our own context, how confident are you that coaches at Newfield will be able to keep that project running smoothly anyway?
They certainly will. We've got fantastic people there and fantastic experienced coaches that work strongly together with the players to continue the journey.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes the Lions section. We'll now move into the